right, our Commitment 2010 coverage continues with an interview with Congressman Ed Case. Of course, he's a candidate for Congress running in the soon-to-be special election. We'll find out soon. And, of course, we had your opponents on earlier this week. Sir, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good to be back.
Really appreciate it. And let's start with the special election. The ruling came out yesterday that says it has to happen as soon as possible. I believe it's 60 days, and Congressman Abercrombie is stepping down February 28th. And this is exactly what you want to happen.
Well, not just from that perspective, but we cannot be unrepresented in Congress for any longer than absolutely necessary. March, April, May, June, July, these are the real meat of the congressional year. That's when your appropriations are going, your major bills are going right there, and you cannot leave a state or a district unrepresented during that period. So I've always said we need to fill that puka as soon as possible and get somebody up there, whoever it is, get them up on the job, building up some more seniority, building up the experience, applying it for Hawaii, get them going right away.
And, you know, a lot of people, when we talk about your campaign, they point out that this is like your fourth campaign in 6 years. And some have called you a political opportunist. Would you agree with that, where a lot of your candidates, well, I guess your opponents, Colleen Hanabusa has also done that as well, but what is your opinion on that? Are you an opportunist? It seems like whenever there's an opportunity, you jump on it. Is that a good thing, a bad thing?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with believing that you can serve and believing you have something to contribute. And after all, you do have to go through an election in order to be elected, in order to be able to serve people. So I guess by that definition, anybody that runs for any office is some kind of an opportunist. I believe that I can bring my seniority and experience to bear for the good of Hawaii, for the good of the country in Washington. That's why I put myself forward as a candidate again. And I think anybody is welcome to run for office, whether it be state legislature, right up to president.
But as you run for Congress again, do you have plans? I mean, of course, you can't say what's going to happen in the future, but now that you go back to Congress and your experience running for the U.S. Senate, is this someplace you figure that you're going to stay for a long time? What kind of commitment can you give to voters?
Well, you know, I'm not going to make up my mind about years beyond this year right now. I think, and I've believed right from the beginning, that we do need to plan for the transition in the United States Senate. This is something that Senator Inouye spoke to just a couple of days ago when he said, look, you can't just look 2 years out. You've got to look 10, 20 years out. I agree with that assessment. The fact of the matter is that we've had 11 representatives in the U.S. House since statehood, and 6 of them have run for the Senate, and a number of the others have considered running for the Senate. I think it's natural to at least consider that you can also assist your state in the U.S. Senate as well. But I'm not making that decision this year. I'm going to go back, if I'm fortunate enough to do that, go back to the House, do as good a job as I can for as long as I can.
Let's talk about what's going on in the House right now. Of course, not yesterday, I should say, the stimulus bill, a 1-year anniversary. We had a report there. There's a lot of money, numbers out there. It's created so many jobs, and we can't really track those jobs down, especially here in Hawaii and across the country. Once again, is this something that you would have voted for if you were in Congress a year ago? And how can it be fixed? How can it be adjusted to work better for the American people?
Well, you know, this is one of those examples where extreme partisanship obscures the facts. Let's look at the facts. The facts are that in the last year of the Bush presidency and the first year of the Obama presidency, we were really in a free fall in terms of loss of jobs. We lost, in the last month before Bush got out of office, we lost almost 800,000 jobs. And in the first month Obama was in office, we lost almost 800,000 jobs. So what has happened is that we have been through a horrific 2 years, and that bridged both the Bush and the Obama presidency. And Bush came out with his own stimulus package before he left. I probably would have voted for that one, and I probably would have voted for the Obama stimulus. Now, does that mean it was a perfect package? Absolutely not. And it has not worked in terms of getting that money out into the communities fast enough. That's what has to be fixed. But in terms of the principle of whether we should have come out with a stimulus to avoid a complete deterioration in our economy, I don't think there's any real question about that.
Last question. This campaign, things are heating up in the governor's race right now, accusations of dirty politics and everything, but this congressional race, of course, I know that the special election hasn't been set yet, but it's really been pretty mild comparing. There's not a lot of mudslinging going on between you and your opponents.
Well, I certainly hope it stays that way. I think we both and all of us are entitled to get out there, present our candidacies positively to the voters, ask for the voters to evaluate who has the best combination of seniority, experience, relationships up in Congress to do the job. I certainly hope it doesn't deteriorate into anything other than that. And
you had mentioned seniority before. If you get reelected, that you would be a senior member. Can you explain that term exactly? How would that work? If you go in, you would go in as a senior. Would it be a senior member, the freshman?
No, the way it really worked. Well, first of all, I have 7 years of experience on the ground in Washington,
And does that count when you go there as far
Well, it certainly counts in terms of having 7 years of knowing what you're doing.
I understand what you're saying.
But I also, in addition to that 7 years of experience, experience have 4+ years as an actual member of Congress. And in the way that Congress calculates seniority, you do in fact carry your prior service up there. So that counts in terms of committee assignments, that counts in terms of other aspects of your actual service. That
would be against the rest of the freshman class that comes in, or would that be for every member of Congress?
No, every member of Congress.
Every member of Congress.
That's why, for example, that just that 5 weeks, when I first was elected to Congress in 2002, that gave me 5 weeks of seniority over the class that came in right after me. So in the same sense, I've got 4+ years going in. So I slide in at a higher level than somebody that's just starting clean.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that point as well. And sir, thank you very much. And we'd like to have you back on next month as well to continue, of course, our watch on this special election that should happen perhaps May 1st.
I hope so, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. And we'll be